All right, we are live. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through a proven process of getting more leads for your brick and mortar business that you probably haven't heard of before and that your competitors probably won't even notice. It goes deeper than traditional marketing. It gets you right in front of your ideal prospect, and it doesn't take any real money until it starts bringing in results. So I'm Connor Erickson, founder of Brick and More Leads, a results-based marketing company that doesn't get paid until you do. So let's walk through some of these processes and how they can help you in your business. As you watch this video, there's 3 things I want you to keep in mind. Number 1, each business is unique. Context matters. There's going to be different things about your business, your LTV to CAC ratio, where you're located, and several other factors, what you're already doing that's working that we can leverage. And so apply this to you, right? I'm going to say general principles that work for everybody, but when we work with clients, it's very much tailored like to what you have now and where we can improve it. Number 2, even though you are a unique business, there are things that you should have as a foundation. So if we took a look at a company and we're like, they don't have an online presence, like their SEO is just not, it's just not there. It's bad. They don't show up when people Google them, right? Or their Google listing has poor reviews or no reviews. Then we would do reputation management, right? So definitely there's a foundation that you should have. And if you don't have that, do that first, okay? And then number 3, as you move forward with these principles, make sure you're testing and experimenting, okay? You can't just say, okay, this worked for this industry, so we're going to do a large-scale initiative to try it in our company. It might not work for you for whatever reason, but you won't know unless you test, right? So keep testing, keep iterating, and maybe you could even have better results than the company you saw doing it. So those are the 3 things to keep in mind. Let's take a look at our process. Here's the process. Again, very simple. Make sure your foundation is set. There's going to be a lot of different things you need to make sure are just in place, right? And this list here doesn't mean like, oh, I have to do core ads, I have to do Pinterest ads. But if you are doing them and there's an ROI to be made there, it means let's do it more. Or if you're poised to really succeed on one of these platforms, then give it a test, right? So anyway, that's kind of like foundational stuff. The second part, this is the part that's the unique aspect, right? It's identifying strategic partnerships. Okay. This is different than strategic sponsors. This is about finding partners that are going to allow you to tap into their audience in a way that everybody benefits, right? It's a win-win-win. So it's ethical. It's a way of doing it so that they enjoy it, you enjoy it, the customer enjoys it. So I'm going to tell you a story from Jay Abraham. Okay. If you don't know who he is, he works with many big brands like Taco Bell and Sears, and they're just huge companies. Anyway, he helped even grow a Japanese cosmetic surgery company, the biggest in Japan, from 1 location to 87 locations, right? And he's helped increase the revenue of multiple businesses to a total of $50 billion, right? Increase in revenue that he's responsible for. So he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. And he told a story one time about an arcade. Okay. It was on a pier and it was underneath the boardwalk. And there was other companies that were around, right? So just to give you some numbers, the arcade found out that the lifetime value of a customer, at least when they came in, right, they spent $10. Okay. So they had $10 whenever they came in. And we needed to figure out a way, or Jay Abraham, I was in a training with him some years back. This is where I heard it. I wasn't part of this, but really cool story. So they're like, hey, we make $10 every time a customer comes in. How do we get more customers? And so they reached out to other people that were near the boardwalk and they said, hey, if somebody spends this much money at your shop, we want to give them a free arcade credit, right? 50 cents. So you just give this to anybody who spends this much money, right? It's like a free gift. So the business benefits, consumer benefits. And then when they go to the arcade, if they claim that credit, they found out that 90% of the time, those consumers that use the 50-cent credit would actually spend the rest of the $9.50 out of their pocket, which is really phenomenal because then it means the cost to acquire customers 50 cents and they get a lot more in return, right? And on scale, it increases the business numbers exponentially. So how can you do this in your business? Because you're not an arcade, most likely, right? The people that are going to be watching this are people that are part of businesses that are very established and huge. So I'm going to use another example that's a little bit more above an arcade example, and then I'll get into these questions and share more. But if you're a massage company, right? $100 voucher that you give to somebody in another non-competitive business. Let's say they do like cosmetics and things like that, or a hairstylist or something, right? That spends like hundreds of dollars a month. It's like, hey, for the people that spend the most at your shop, when they spend that, we want to give them $100 massage voucher. And you can keep track of how much that customer continues to get massages after using the $100, because you've already identified that they spend a lot of money on stuff, and you give them the voucher, and then you can really keep track of how it is. So let's get into these questions real quick so that you can get this for your own company. So the first question is, before people come to your brick and mortar location, what are they buying, right? Before they buy your product, what do they buy? This is a way that you can kind of catch them on their next step, right? Because a lot of times people will solve a problem and then there's another problem, right? They build a basketball court. Now they need a basketball hoop, right? And then a basketball. And so you can try and find them before, so that you can target them. What are people buying during your product? Okay. So while they buy your product, what else do they pay for, right? Is there some kind of deal that you can make that when they buy this thing, they get a discount on your product, so they choose you, right? This is a huge opportunity. And then what do people buy after? Okay. So after they buy your product, where are they going, right? And what do they buy instead of? So instead of your product, what are the things they would buy, right? I won't get too into this right now because I want to keep this video short. But there's a lot of opportunities here too. Where it's basically just saying, where do your clients show up that you can meet them? Where are they? How can you meet them? How can you do it in a way that they feel rewarded, and the company that gives them the vouchers or whatever it is feels like, oh, we're giving more value, right? So it really is the win-win-win situation. And you don't have to put any real money up until it starts working. Because when you get the data from the vouchers of like, okay, somebody, they claim this much money, but over time, the lifetime value of this customer is so significant that this initial investment was more than 100 times worth it, right? Like a hairstylist that moves into town and they figure out, okay, who are the new move-ins that need a hairstylist, right? And then they can figure out from there that the new move-ins that are looking for a hairstylist they can give them a free voucher. They use them once, they like it, they like the service. And then for the rest of the time that they live there, they use that hairstylist. So it's a really big deal, especially when you can enter those new markets in these strategic ways. You're going to just exponentially increase your footfall, people walking into your business and buying your products. So this is just kind of going into the question, who can you team up with that has a complementary service that's non-competitive? Okay. Something that, they're not your competitor, but it's complementary to what you do. And where can you cross-sell or offer an introduction? Okay. So this is, again, embedding your service into theirs. It's stealth marketing, right? So these are just some of the questions. There's a lot more, but I didn't want to make this video super long. So if you want to talk about them for your specific business, like your exact use case, then I'm willing to meet with you one-on-one if you qualify. So just fill out the thing below and we'll be able to talk more about it. I could even meet you in person. And again, totally free. We're going to look for opportunities. And it's likely that you're not taking advantage of these opportunities, right, in the second part of the process. But it's also likely that we figure out that, oh, hey, their email marketing could be a lot better, right, of what the organization is doing. And so we could help you on these things. Again, it's all tailored. It's all going to be depending on your situation. So you could be missing out on tens of thousands of dollars, right? And so our unique selling proposition is that when we bring you the money, then you pay us. Okay. So it's like, oh, look at that. We were able to get you this much more money, and then we just take our cut from what you made. So it's really, I call it a no-brainer offer because like I would do it, somebody offers that, of course, like it's just the easiest offer. And the whole point of this, we want to lower your cost to acquire a new customer. We want to make the LTV higher than ever before. And we want to help you retain all the customers that you're getting. Okay. And I can guarantee you there's a lot of things that you're not doing that you could be that would help you a ton. Okay. I'm going to use a quick example of Sportsman's Warehouse. Okay. So Sportsman's Warehouse, they sell a lot of different things, like from basketball hoops as one example I gave, and some other examples. But for them, they would be able to find people maybe within a proximity of their locations, right? Restaurants and things like that. But maybe they can find like basketball coaches who need to get new gear for their team, right? Or they need to find another company that has not a competitive service but a complementary service, right? So there's so many opportunities here. I've just named a few of them, and there's more to it. But again, for the sake of length of the video, I don't want to take too much time. But yeah, click below, fill out that form, and then we can get in contact. Hey, here's a quick bonus. This is for the Sportsman's Warehouse example. And I just typed in one of their competitors, Dick's Sporting Goods, and we can see how much money they've been spending on ads, the kind of ads that they were on, like all these different things. So it's really interesting. You can also see the kind of ads they ran and how successful they were and how long they ran them, through Facebook, through YouTube, through all these different methods. But if you look at Dick's Sporting Goods, it's like, oh, everything started going down. They spent a lot right here, like a lot, right? I mean, that total spend right here is like 1.9 million, and it just dipped like to zero pretty much. And then I found out they're going out of business. Didn't know that. But this is a great opportunity. It's like, okay, they probably have a list of leads. And there's probably people that would go to Dick's now that I can't because they're closing. So how can we take advantage of that as Sportsman's Warehouse, right? So just things like that. You can look up other competitors too and see which ads they've ran that are successful and just get into those details because it's